Hello and welcome all. This is the Ask Vinnie Thompson virtual home buying seminar. Believe it or not, contrary to what you may believe in real estate, we are still buying, selling, and renting in the New York area. Very totally different dynamic now to how that's actually happening, but we are still moving slowly but surely. The roles have changed in how you do and virtual, as you can see, which I normally do this kind of seminar in a classroom. I'm in the comfort of my own home at my home office, better known as my dining room, minus this background here. So what do I mean by the industry is still moving? Let me give you some numbers. So what's going on with the market? In the month of May, from May 1st till the 20th, there were 2,636 listings that were taken, meaning people said, I want to sign up and sell my house. 933 of those went pending, meaning someone says, I like that house, I want to sign for it, I signed a contract, and I want to buy it. 438 rentals happened in Nassau, Queens, and Suffolk County, and almost 1,200 homes actually got sold, meaning someone got the keys and started their legacy from May 1st to the 20th. So the market is moving a bit slower, but it's moving just the same. What I do is always a little bit non-traditional, and I try to make it more meat and potatoes and practical for people to understand. Buying a home is very individual, meaning what someone's credit may need or what they need to buy a home is different than what someone else needs. So I just try to hit some of the basic points. And then if someone has a question, they have a question. If not, I've done my job because I've answered all the questions ahead of time. So let's start with the first slide. All right, so my name is Vinnie Thompson from the Ask Vinnie Thompson team. I am the head rainmaker, as I say, making things happen. Here's my information. Ask Vinnie Thompson. I retired to serve you better, meaning the people in the public. All right, that's my logo. That's my cell phone number. You can contact me at askvinniethompson.com or email, cell phone, or the office. All right, and my office is Keller Williams Landmark 2. So you want to buy a house, right? So the house you can buy is, some homes are residential, meaning the standard home, 3 bedrooms, you have land, or you could buy a townhouse or condo, right? So for a condominium, you're buying actual square footage. For co-op, you're buying shares in a company. Some people want their first home to be an investment property, right? So an investment property, you want to buy like a 2-family, a 3-family, or 4-family, right? Not a bad way to start off life. You can have some tenants that help you pay the mortgage. You have to choose well, of course. Or you can buy something that's new construction. New construction in New York is a bit hard to find, although they do have it every now and again, right? Why should you invest in real estate? Because it's land, and they're not making any more of it. So it's always a good idea to invest in land. All right, so home buying basics. What are some of the credit do's and don'ts? Try to stay away from Credit Karma, all right? Don't Google how to fix your credit, and don't ask your family friends. Now, this may be counterintuitive to a lot of people. Credit Karma doesn't give you a true picture of what your credit is, right? So many times they'll miss something, or maybe they're not reporting the correct way, and people don't have the actual credit scores they need to do what I feel is a holy grail of credit: buy a home, right? So all credit companies are into selling your information to get you to buy more stuff. Credit Karma does that at a high level. Doesn't mean that's the best person for you to follow when it comes to you getting credit. If you need your credit fixed, I'm not saying all the companies are bad or you shouldn't go to them, but if you want to purchase a home specifically, Your mortgage lender is going to be able to tell you how to get that credit fixed without going to a company that can fix your credit for you. There may be small things you can do as far as, maybe you need a forbearance for your student loan. That's a big one. Or maybe something that's on your credit that's old that shouldn't be there. They can tell you how to fix that. Family and friends mean well, but realize your family and friends have done what you're asking them to have information on one time. Rely on the professionals. We all work somewhere, or someone gave us the money to buy the home, or maybe just have the cash. So let them do their job and be a family and friend, and kind of steer clear of asking them for advice. Do's, right? Do ask a professional in the mortgage industry. I say start with a realtor, because a realtor is going to be able to tell you, hey, I understand what your situation is, and that can help you get a mortgage with your particular situation. Sometimes it's not good to go to certain places because that's not the best place for you to go to get a mortgage for you. And at least a realtor is going to give you a variety of people you can go to help you find the mortgage that fits you and your family needs. Also, with a realtor, we're going to assess your long-term family goals so you can have financial success. That's really key. So let's say you wanted to buy a house, but you're like, hey, Vinny, I'm only going to be in New York for the next 5 to 7 years. Are you sure, sir or miss? No. I'm retiring. I'm going down south. I'm done. Okay, hey, great. The person wants to get, doesn't want to pay rent, has a family, an adjustable rate mortgage may be good for them if that's your intent. So you give them a rate that locks them in for that amount of time, and we can do that. Hire a professional and pay them, right? So the listing agent is normally hired by the seller. You should also hire your realtor to represent you as a buyer. Rarely used in New York, but it could be of great value for those that want to make sure that they're getting proper representation. Because there's only but so much I can do if you ask me to take you out and I don't represent you, or you haven't signed up some type of contractual agreement with me to help you find that home. You're going to need an attorney here in New York to help you get through the process of buying the home, negotiating the contract, protecting your down payment, and getting you to where you need to be. And of course, you need a lawyer actually for life, right? So they're going to be helping you in the event of you passing, family members passing on, or whatever the case may be, all right? An accountant, also somebody you need for life. What are my taxes? What should I and can I invest in that's going to have the best tax advantages for the lifetime of me working, right? You also need great attorneys. Before you sign anything, always make sure to consult your attorney. Always a good idea to speak to them first as far as what you're going to sign and what you're doing, because they can help you with an easy in or out clause. All right. Okay. I like to break things down, remember, in easy to understand terms so people can understand them and how to do it, right? I used to do a seminar without having these basics of how you make a purchase, right? So uh, if you're making 80 to 90 grand by yourself, you can probably purchase a home on your own, depending on where and how much you make, credit, and your down payment. So for the rest of the New Yorkers who don't make that kind of money in one salary, it's always a mystery. So I made a little demographic here, or a graph, right? And I broke it down in how do people in practice buy homes, right? So let's take Raheem. Raheem works, let's say, for Uber, and he makes $30,000 a year, right? So he makes $30K a year. He submits his taxes and he pays his taxes. He's good. But 30 grand can get you a house worth $100,000, which I'm telling you right now does not exist here in New York. You might see it, but it may have been an estate sale, a sale to another family member, or maybe some type of mortgage miscalculation you saw on I don't know, Zillow or something. Becky makes $40,000 a year. Let's say she works for now. She's an essential worker, so she works for I don't know, UPS, or she works as a driver somewhere. All right, so Raheem meets Becky. They make 70 grand. Okay, so they may qualify for something 200 to 300, a year. All right, now we're getting someplace. So, but by themselves, they still need more income, right? Let's say they got, I don't know, 40 grand saved up. Now, Raheem has a grandpa, right? Grandpa makes 20 grand a year. You can't discriminate against grandpa, okay? Grandpa makes 20 grand a year. He's on a fixed income. He can throw his hat into the ring to add to Raheem and Becky and put his 20 grand. Okay, with that, you're making about 100 grand a year. Perfect. With that, I can compete. I'm in the fours, maybe fives, depending on how much money I have to down, for a down payment. Now I'm kind of on my way to being able to afford a home in my price range. So what's another way you can qualify to get a home? Let's say you make 50 grand a year. You're the kind of guy, you're miserable or girl. You're not with anybody. You don't like anybody. You're, a dog or cat lover. Okay, no problem. You can get a second job, and then that second job pays you 50 grand a year. Now you make 100 grand a year. So 50 and 50 gives you 100 grand. The bank will say yes to that as long as you've had that job for 2 years. On the end of the 2-year mark, you saved up your cash, you now can qualify to buy a home. Right, for us, April. So, other slide. No, slide before that. Yeah, before that one. Yeah, right. Okay, so saving money to buy a home, right? 90 grand a year can qualify you to purchase a home approximately 425 to 475. Okay, that's put you in a general range. How much money would you need to actually qualify for that home? It depends. So let's say you've been working really hard, like many people do in the New York City area and around the country, but you only got 20 grand, and you may need about 45 to 50 total to buy that home. No worries. You can get what's called the seller's concession if you don't have all the cash. With a seller's concession, I've done that with a home. The home was actually $475,000. The person exactly had that same scenario. They had $25,000. So we raised the price of that home from $475 to $495. We took that 20 grand and that gave them extra cash on top of the house to qualify for that down payment. So it's kind of like giving you fictitious money, to qualify for the home, but you're able to get it. So here, look at this scenario. The seller's concession. Home costs $450 plus $25,000, $475. You get the home. All right. So I'm trying to take something that's could be complicated and simplify it. But if you speak to your realtor, they can break this down for you a little better, and definitely your mortgage broker can as well. They have other programs out there. The NACA is a program, neighborhood housing program. You have to find a lot of these programs on your own and make sure that they're good, meaning that they have the money and there are grants for them, but don't let that slow you down. If they don't have the money, once again, speak to your realtor who can help you get the financing you need along with a bank to help you get that house. Next slide. I'm dead. I'm so dead. All right, the do's and don'ts of getting a home. Once again, hold on. I'm giving you my practicing opinion on how to be very successful in getting your home. All right. In New York, homes are 30, 40, 50, 60, sometimes 100 years old. All right. So that means many of the homes are lived in for many generations. Maybe the person made upgrades, maybe they did not. So I tell people from the very start, depending on your price point, don't be picky. It really is one or the other. Either you're looking to do some work, or you're going to get something that's competing at the top of the top of the market, that has been refurbished or reconditioned or renovated, and you're going to pay a premium for it. All right. Also, don't love a borough, love your family. I'm fortunate to do a lot of work in Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island, and I'm amazed at, especially in Brooklyn, there's something in the water where people just love, love, love Brooklyn. They refuse to leave, and I get it. And you have some hardworking, well-qualified people. But some people, they can maybe qualify for a home for $600,000, $700,000. That may not be enough because the market is so hot over there still. It won't support what you need to get done. All right. So I tell people you might have to move, to Queens or Long Island or maybe Staten Island to get a home for your family. All right. When looking for a home, stay off Instagram and Facebook. There's a lot of stuff going on there, and that has people feeling really weird about themselves as far as everybody wants the stainless steel, they all want the granite countertops, and you may not be able to have that right now, but I promise you, you will do work to the home even if your home is new. You can get all of that stuff later on, I promise you. Remember, people throw on the word legacy all the time, but the truth is, legacy starts with purchasing the home. If you don't buy a home, it's kind of tough to start that legacy that involves real estate for you and your family. All right. Legacy comes in all shapes and sizes, right? Home, or it's a family home, and I don't want to sell a home that was my mom's or my dad's. I get that. But the truth is, legacy can be held in many ways. You could sell at home, like I have people that ask me and hired me to sell at home, where we got them $1.2 million. $1.2 million can start 3 or 4 legacies within one family with liquefying, that physical home. All right. And be motivated to buy a home, right? The spoils go to those that are motivated and really want to move up and get a piece of the action, which is, a piece of America or whatever country you want to purchase in. And I'm fortunate to be at Keller Williams because here we are literally national and international. All right. Next slide, please, April. All right. The 3 P's of real estate. All right. Please don't kill the messenger. I know that's a very overused term, but it is. It's product, price, and place. You only get 2, generally speaking. Using what I'm all familiar with, my lovely Brooklyn people, I tell them, look, your price point is too low, all right? And the condition of the house, you may be able to get, but you're not going to get it here. You have to go to Queens because you want a better looking home in your price, but you can't get that in Brooklyn. And I'm using Brooklyn as an example because it's just such a hot market. Things I put on the market that I know I price well, sometimes are 30, 40, 50, 100 grand over asking. That's just how hot that market has gotten. Even now during COVID, it's still a hot market, We're just switching slides. Selling your home. So for those of us that are on the call that are looking to sell your home, right? You have the absolute right to sell your home. That's what we call in the real estate industry a FSBO, a for sale by order. FSBOs are very tricky. I think Michael Jordan said it the best, where he said, I apologize because I made it look easy. Just because you can does not mean that you should, okay? We have listed, there's 181 things the realtor does to get that home sold. I think that list is short a few dozen tasks. I know I myself do a lot of social media advertising, and I don't know if I make it look easy, but when you see the realtors and the attorneys and the buyer and the seller, they're all smiles. That's because they went on a roller coaster of emotion during that whole process. When done properly, with still informing your client. That is done seamlessly. And what looked like a small transaction came from the hard work of your attorney, your realtor, your inspector, all three attorneys, buyer's attorney, seller's attorney, and bank attorney. All right. So the best power you have right now to sell your home is using the power of the multiple listing service, decluttering your home to get it painted and ready to show no matter what the condition is. A new coat of paint on an old home or any home does wonders. All right. Interview more than one realtor, right? Unless I show up. If I show up at your doorstep, you're good. But if you must, get a comparison. Ask the person, what is your value proposition you bring to the deal, bring to the table? All right. Pricing. Price your home at a number that's going to sell. If you get a realtor that comes to your home and hopefully can show you in black and white, it says, okay, the Joneses next door paid $500, meaning that's what they got. The Adams across the street with the same house sold $510, and the Raymonds, they got $505. All right. Guess what your house is worth? Your house is worth $505. All right. So you're talking about $500, $510, and $505. So people are saying, yeah, well, let's start the house at $540. You're doing yourself a disservice. That's not what the homes are selling for. You'd rather price your house at a price to sell than a try it now price. All right? You have to take this very serious along with your real estate professional. For many people, this is the first time that they're in charge of hundreds of thousands of dollars that don't involve stocks and this kind of thing where many of us may have our money. All right? And many people say, well, I want an investor. For most homes that I've seen, a little bit of sprucing up, you won't need an investor. An investor many times can be your last resort. If the home, let's say, is inhabitable, a fire, some estate sales, or has some title issues, that's when you really want to call in the investor to be used. But many times, unless the person insists for whatever reasons, some may be personal that never get divulged to the public, that. But for the most part, in this market, strong sellers market, you can get your house sold doing those techniques that I told you about. All right, so where can we sell homes at? In all the 50 states of America and outside of America. I believe we are now at Keller Williams International, China, Costa Rica, Mexico, Trinidad, Jamaica, Turks, Caicos, Turkey. It's a lot to list. I keep telling myself one day I'm going to list all of them, but I never get a chance to. Next slide, please, April. And that's more or less it. Once again, I try to make it as comprehensive as I can, when it comes to the home buying seminar, because it really is a very individual thing. And you really should sit down with a realtor who then can refer you a mortgage professional to help you with your specific family situation and help them get you a home. Kind of simple and plain. April, do you have any questions on Facebook?
Yeah, we don't have questions so far. And let me check the chats. No one's asking questions though.
It's perfect. I did an excellent job. Pat myself on the back once again. Hey, Neville, I see you're here. Do you have any questions for us?
No. I'm good. As I said, I pretty much was well versed in similar ideologies and philosophies that you were going over. I guess you're not gonna recommend FHAs, most likely because of the higher, I guess, taxes and things you have to deal with on the back end. Because that was like one thing I think I didn't hear. But for the most
FHA is great. No, FHA is excellent. I do FHAs all day.
Really?
Yeah, because look, I met a gentleman. I think I told you when we spoke on the phone. He says, "Well, you know, I wanna save my house, but I want to avoid PMI, and I want to save." I'm like, "Okay, well, how much can you save a year?" He says, "I can save 10 grand a year." I'm like, "That's great." So in 10 years, gives you $100,000, but it's offset by the amount of rent that you're paying because your rent is $1,500. So you would have paid, twice the amount of rent trying to save to get a house when just in tax savings, they would have given you back a large portion of your money. So even though if you do get an FHA loan, you're paying more fees, it's offset by the tax benefit. Not to mention you have a place to stay. And that same 10 years, in theory, you're paying off a third of your home, if not more, if you make every 2-week payments. So no, I'm a proponent of get in where you fit in, literally, and start the process. For buyer and seller, could have been a better time than now. The rates are historically low. If there's anything to repeat on the media and you really sunk into your mind, 3 and 4 and 5% do not make sense. We will never see this again. It's great for sellers because they can sell at top dollar, and then the buyers can get in at a very low rate, which transfers into a lower payment. And for the buyer, you are eternally at a bit of a disadvantage once you become qualified, because somebody say, "Yeah, Vinny, I want to wait till the prices go up." Okay, great. Don't take my word for it. Normally, when the house prices go down, the interest rate goes up, almost like a seesaw effect, and vice versa, right? House prices are higher, interest rate is lower. Who's affected more by this? Really the buyer, because the buyer can get knocked out the box easily if house prices come down a little bit, but interest rate rise higher because you qualify for less. So you get knocked out the box sooner than later. So it's always, once you're qualified, it's go time. It's time to get off the fence, get something for your family, grab like anything, literally. I've rarely met a person, even somebody that's got into financial trouble, says, "Oh, I wish I didn't buy." Buying a home is one of the greatest. Once you're qualified or working towards getting qualified. So FHA or not, I'd say get in where you fit in, PMI or not, get it soon, get it fast.
I appreciate that. I never heard it broke down like that. Usually I get, because similar to what you said, the fee situation, I get similar to what we were talking about with the lender. It's if you have the ability to at least avoid the PMI. I was not instructed, but encouraged to avoid FHAs. But that's an interesting take. I've never heard it the way you said.
Look, you have to make the best decision for you and your family. And for what it's worth, I tell people I would give you the same information I would give my mother, rest her soul, who's no longer here. To get in where you can, start where you can. I would always rather struggle with a mortgage than easily pay rent or staying with family, right? You always still wear out your welcome, right? With family. And, I'm a landlord, so don't get me wrong. Every month,
no, you are insanely accurate with that one. That family thing wears out really fast.
It does. And I had a lady, she's retired from New York City, and she asked me the same question of what I just told you. She said, "Well, no, I'm 59 years old. I'm leaving New York. Should I buy something?" I said, "Well, I have a tenant that's in her 80s and she's renting. Using that scenario, you'd have 25 years of maybe paying off your mortgage and giving something, God willing, you live that long, to your kids, or just having something you amassed instead of renting for the next 21 years. You have a decent pension. You could easily go to another state and have a mortgage of $1,000. If you adjusted for your taxes that you got back, it'd be even less. So it's always home buying season, always a good idea to get something for you. You know, stocks, who knows what kind of pixie dust what they're doing with stocks and all this other stuff. I don't know. But a tangible asset you control and can rent out and can fix up and can tear down or can build up, you can't beat it. And I've had my trials and tribulations with rentals and real estate and fixing stuff up and being sued. And so I survived. And I'm not that smart. I just have great people around me that help me when I get into trouble. You know, so I'm not a FISBO. I'm always in need of hiring. My first 3 homes, I think I was the best client ever because whatever my guy said buy, I wanted. I said, look, I want a 1-family home I can convert to a 2. He got me a big house over in Hollis. Then I wanted a 2-family home. I said, I want a 2-family home that was beat up that I can fix up. He got me a beat up 2-family home. And the house I'm living in now, I said I want a small house on a big lot that's a mess because I want to take out, you know, fix it up when I got a chance. They got me a lot that was 60 by 100, 2-bedroom house. The house is in horrible shape, but I put like $100 grand into it later on and made it 4-bedroom, 4-bath, you know, the way I wanted to do it, you know? So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Gotcha.
All right, so with no further ado, Neville, you have my number. April, the people have the information. I think that's about it. Everybody, you guys have a great weekend. If you need me, you can contact me 718-749-9192 or 718-810-3078. All right? And if you can't remember that, remember always ask VinnieThompson.com. All right? You guys have a great weekend. Stay safe.